Top 8 most useless items or power-ups. Games this generation have been heavily focused on high-octane action, cinematic, breathtaking set pieces, and rich, intricate stories that try to bridge the harsh gap between gameplay and narration. What a lot of games don't do much this time around is provide you with quick items and power-ups that allow you to get that immediate upper hand. This has been more or less replaced with a more traditional level-up system that allows you to unlock abilities and upgrades once you've earned enough experience. Many arcade games still use this approach, but not as much as we used to see. And while an extra item or pickups are usually good news, some can be downright unlucky to acquire. So, with that in mind, let's count down some of the most useless items and power-ups found in video games. Number 8. Starting off the list is the Smoke Ball from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Not introduced until the franchise's third iteration, this item isn't used to help you take on 3 other Nintendo licensed fighters in a battle to the death at all. While it certainly is not as disheartening as throwing a Pokeball that releases a Goldeen, the Smoke Ball is a surefire disappointment every time. And that adds to the sheer amount of frustration you experience when it appears. When thrown, it releases a soft, pillowy puff of colorful smoke. And that's it. Throw it on the ground, and it will just stay there until it fizzles out. And if you attach it to another player, you get the same results. While it may be confusing to say the least, its lack of purpose and its capacity for head scratching is what lands the Smoke Ball on this list. Number 7. The Flame Gun in Contra. Another gem in the retro cabinet. Contra was known for pioneering cheat codes into video games, and the couch co-op side-scrolling shooter did more than give 2 people something fun to do on a Saturday night. It made you yell and curse for trying to get through the levels with a flame gun. With this hot mess, instead of shooting a flame, a la its name, it spits out a plethora of spiraling fireballs that can easily miss enemies entirely. Power-ups are about getting tools necessary to confront the game ahead, then ultimately celebrating the victory of clearing the last level. With the flame gun, those moments of joy and celebration are dampened. It becomes more of an uphill climb, and by the end, it's not worth the time and effort spent carrying it around. Long story short, Contra good, flame gun bad. Number 6. The Speed Shoes in Sonic the Hedgehog. While the premise of being super fast and bipedal in video games had not been fully realized, the team at Sega decided to do something about it when they introduced their blue speedster to the public. Sonic was, and still is, a fun ride. The colors pop, the music is memorable to say the least, and the enemies are annoying. This was already trivial enough until you found the Speed Shoes. This power-up quickly becomes a regret when you realize Sonic doesn't need to go faster at all. Enemies are harder to react to, and Sonic is just as susceptible to getting killed. Whether it be by the hands of your forest friends encapsulated in Dr. Robotnik's machines, or just by running off a cliff. Hey, it happens, and it will definitely happen again and again if you pick up the Speed Shoes. Number 5. The Time Bomb in Metal Gear Solid. During the course of his time on Shadow Moses Island, Solid Snake gets captured, interrogated, and tortured by Revolver Ocelot. Once you manage to get through the lengthy cutscenes and snippets of tactical espionage action, Snake finally receives his gear, only to find a time bomb in the items menu that wasn't originally there before. The only real solution is to remove the bomb from your inventory and throw it out before it explodes. But fail to do so, and you'll get an explosive kick in the nuts. Snake soon discovers the bomb was placed there by none other than Ocelot. Although this moment adds more depth to the relationship between the two, the bomb itself is an item that Snake simply can't use. Number 4. The Leaf Shield in Mega Man 2. People who have played the retro Mega Man games know there isn't really a warm, welcoming embrace into its trial and error hell. Even on the easiest setting, some of its platforming and stages can become pretty frustrating. Then, on top of it all, you get the Leaf Shield. Sounds cool, right? That's a joke, of course it doesn't. You quickly realize that this power-up is more of a downgrade, as you can't even move with it. And when you do, your 4 leaves shoot off in every direction, doing little to nothing at almost all times. The only way to really deal any damage with the Leaf Shield is when you go up against Airman. But afterwards, there's just nothing enticing about equipping it a second time. Number 3. The Cloak of Darkness in Wizards and Warriors. While even some of the most pointless pickups still do a little something, none of them inhibit you the way the Cloak of Darkness does in 1987's Wizards and Warriors. The NES platformer promised a repetitive experience from beginning to end for a start. While most games give you a set amount of lives, Wizards and Warriors gave you infinite lives, and you didn't even have to reach a checkpoint. The developers opted for a system in which once you die, you respawn in the same spot you just perished in, only to continue your ongoing yet highly uninteresting journey. This was harder to swallow once you found the Cloak of Darkness. This item turns your character invisible, as it kind of suggests, but not the invisible for the enemies, just for you. It offers no help, since now you're spending time trying to figure out where your character is in relation to the camera. All the while, the enemies can still pick you out and kill you. The Cloak of Darkness is still regarded as one of the most useless things you can pick up in a video game, and that's why it comes in at number 3. The sleep ability in Kirby's Dream Land Adventure. Kirby is still a pretty well-recognized mascot in the Nintendo world, and for good reason. The little pink ball has spanned multiple titles, numerous franchises, and almost an entire generation, but the sleep ability from 1993's Kirby's Adventure sticks out as one of the most fruitless power-ups in video game memory. By swallowing a noddy, Kirby acquires the amazing power of sleeping. For at least 5 seconds, Kirby will lay on the ground and doze off, leaving him vulnerable to attacks. The player can mash buttons to wake Kirby up, but at that moment, the damage has already been done. The sleeping ability appears in numerous other Kirby titles, cementing its place at number 2. Number 1, the secret boot in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. With a game like Castlevania, every secret item counts. That's why the secret boots in Castlevania Symphony of the Night comes in at number 1, making you traverse, battle, and survive every chamber and labyrinth until you get to the underground caverns. You would think a hidden item has got to do something, and it does, but not in any way that's even remotely helpful. Equipping the secret boots makes Alucard's sprite slightly taller. That's right, he puts on platforms and goes fighting the evil inside the walls of Castlevania. Of course, it's fine if you don't mind the occasional cosmetic upgrade, even if it is such a minuscule one, but an item that has no effect is useless. And the secret boots are the pinnacle of a reward that feels like it would have been better off not being conceived in the first place. And there you have it, some of the most frivolous items you can receive in video games. Go ahead and leave a comment letting us know what items and pickups you love to hate, or even which ones we missed that you feel should be in our top 8, and what your list would look like. As always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like it down below. If you want to see more content, please subscribe. I hate every single one of you.